Okay, welcome to our presentation on project design. I'm Bob Colling, and I'm a student with Arkansas Tech, and we are doing a project design development for Adullam on leadership. And I'd like to introduce the Adullam director, Mark Dollar.
Hello, I'm Mark Dollar.
And he's going to be he's been very helpful in helping us develop this program and the research that went behind it. The project background is Adullam Youth Outreach was founded in the early spring of 2004 by Mark and Leslie Dollar in Russellville, Arkansas, beginning as a outreach ministry for area youth. Who comes to Adullam? Many children come to Adullam with various levels of post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD. Some children arrive anemic with little or moral guidance and struggle with emotional and behavioral issues based on neglect, abandonment, suicide attempts, self-cutting, fear and trauma of physical beatings, rape, incest, and exposure to parental drug abuse. Why is Adullam unique? Adullam is the only free service, parafaith, nonprofit, 501(c) organization chartered in the state of Arkansas, which provides a faith-based family lifestyle and safe environment for boys and girls age 13 to 18. The purpose of the project is we're going to define the root issues of leadership development and growth through a model design, and this is the focus of this project. And we're going to examine the growth potential of Adullam in relationship to the current leadership skills and abilities. And this project is expected to produce potential pathways, proposed potential pathways to solutions for leadership retention, succession, and development of human capital. The problems identified, we identified an undefined leadership development model within the Adullam organization. Current growth pathways may be insufficient for leadership participation and development to sustain consistent and stable long-term growth. The key reason for leadership turnover and loss of human capital to nonprofit organizations is the lack of leadership retention and succession opportunities. The research model that we used is the primary source is for this project was the quantitative survey data that we collected with the use of a questionnaire. And the secondary method of qualitative data collection was an on-site overt participation, observation of participants interacting with other staff members and students. Our survey findings for retention or long-term association is the majority of the participants reflected extremely favorable to a very positive relationship and working exchange among the leadership directors, co-workers, and students. Generally, respondents supported the overarching mission and the goals. When addressing the question of likelihood of working with organization in the future, leadership respondents were more evenly divided, suggesting that there's a probability that respondents do not perceive long-term career growth or career paths within the organization. This is a graph of the survey that we conducted, and you can see on the far left, leadership impact was very, very positively perceived. Convenient training, useful training, everybody gets along. There's a friendliness is very, very high and positive. Everybody feels appreciated. There's a high level of satisfaction, and the high level of very much likely to recommend. We found a more evenly divided section and the likely continue long term. And although the observation phase is, now we go to the observation phase, it is subjective, and this part of the analysis shows the participants to interact and exhibit skill sets and core competencies such as interpersonal skills, personal capabilities, communication, integrity, focus on results, and leading organizational concepts. Key observational considerations that we were looking for: does the observed leaders exhibit personal capabilities along with people skills and emotional intelligence? Do the leaders understand and carry out results-oriented organizational goals? Do the leaders exhibit interpersonal skills and show the ability to connect with the students and other staff members? And can the leaders lead in organizational goals? Are they able to consider and accept guidance related to change associated with personal growth? And these were the areas that we were watching and looking at and observing. Overall findings is we found that the organizational culture is very positive and has a very positive leadership environment, while exhibiting a consistent level of even-handedness and fairness in the approach to interrelating and communicating with students and staff. The leaders show a fair but firm foundational level of interpersonal skills, emotional intelligence, compassion, and connectedness when working with students and other staff members. The leaders are willing to accept guidance, and they consider transitional change to personal growth within themselves as well as the students. And students our leaders are also willing to encourage the application of organizational goals and the overall mission statement. Additional findings: competency levels of students and leaders are excellent and well-rounded. The perception of a long-term career pathway within the Adullam organization is unclear, and the general expectation for the mission of Adullam is to grow the message of the Adullam outreach and the service provided to the public. The mission statement is not necessarily carried through to the leadership retention as a necessary component of organizational growth. In other words, if we can keep them long-term, the organization can grow more substantially, and it will be more stable. Proposed solution and feasibilities. This would entail a leadership training, incorporating the leadership message and relationship between mission growth, organizational growth, and leadership growth. In other words, if we can pull it all together and coalesce it, it'll be a much more homogeneous process. The organization can only grow based on the pace of leadership's long-term vision and commitment to leadership development, and also explore and talk about geographical expansion planning in new locations, thereby providing some incentive for future leadership growth potential and long-term perceptions. Leadership support. Strong leadership development is essential for long-term stability and financial security of a nonprofit organization. If leadership is unable to grow and develop, excessive turnover can result in an unnecessary negative impact on most organizations. Organizational commitment is a key factor for leadership and worker retention. Additional cost solutions and considers costs. The financial component of this solution may require additional study and research. We need to recognize the additional demands for financial support to improving donor participation, and which does possibly correlate to full and part-time staff income potentials. Now, leadership income potential should also be an additional factor relating to perceptions of long-term career options with Adullam. Basically, Adullam is an overextended family environment, and and they depend on live-in staff. And some of the solutions would be consider the live-in staff hold outside full-time and part-time employment, as would most traditional families do. Considering all students are of high school, junior high, and college level and attend public school, the leadership staff could be able to arrange schedules outside employment to supplement personal income needs while providing minimal leadership supervision during school hours. Good faith offers of some form of financial incentive other than free room or board may be necessary to secure long-term levels of leadership growth and outlook and commitment as well. The benefits and costs of completing the project. The key reason for leadership turnover is the loss of human capital to nonprofit organizations, and is the lack of leadership retention and succession opportunities. It is most likely and necessary for Adullam to develop a coherent leadership model to attract and retain talent. This action is essential to mediate financial and service operational setbacks which can impact growth and stability in coordination with long-term organizational goals. And this sums up our presentation for Adullam Youth Outreach, and I want to thank Mark Dollar for participating in this, and thank you for watching this video, and have a good day.